Today, we'll learn the piece Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence by Ryuichi Sakamoto. This piece might be a bit challenging when it comes to reading the sheet music. The reason is that the harmonies are not distinctly clear and the piece might feel somewhat ambiguous. Personally, it gives me a feeling very similar to One Summer's Day. Also, there are a lot of flats in the piece, which could make it tricky. However, adding a flat to the notes as written on the sheet music is more about being tedious than it is truly difficult, right? So, it's not that hard. Alright, everyone, let's start learning the piece slowly. First, let's check the time signature and the key signature. The time signature is 12/8 meter. This means there are 12/8 notes in each measure, with the 8th note as the base unit. 12/8 notes in one measure. Quite a lot, right? Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, it's grouped into 4 sets of 3. So, 3 times 4 equals 12, giving us the 12 notes. How do we count it? We count it in 4 beats like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. So, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's somewhat similar to a 4/4 meter with 4 triplets in each measure, isn't it? Therefore,
1, 2, 3, 4.
You can count it. The 8th notes as the base unit might feel a bit challenging. This is because we're used to pieces based on quarter notes. It's just unfamiliar, that's all. Alright, so now we've understood 12/8 meters. Next, let's check the key signature. There are so many flats. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B, E, A, D, and G are flat. This means that whenever you see these notes, you must always play them as flats. It's quite a lot to keep track of, isn't it? But having this many flats can actually make it less confusing. Why? Because you only need to think about the notes without flats. So just remember to not flat F and C, and everything else gets a flat. Next, we have the tempo marking and expression markings. Andantino means slightly faster than andante. Andante is moderately slow, right? So andantino is written as the tempo marking, indicating a tempo slightly faster than andante. Then we have the expression marking semplice, which means to be performed in a simple manner. It's not about overdoing it. Instead, perhaps you should play with a bit of restraint. That's the impression I get. All right, let's dive into the piece now. First, let's take a look at the right hand. The first 2 measures repeat, starting with B flat, then transitioning to A flat. The difference here is simply between B flat and A flat. Now, you can see the metronome marking, which indicates that a dotted quarter note equals 68 beats per minute. Let's try counting it at 68 beats per minute.
1. Ta 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 ta.
That's 3 notes per beat, right? But it's not necessary to stick perfectly to this tempo. Just get a sense of the overall pace and feel the tempo naturally. It's not a piece where you need to adhere to a super strict beat. Instead, aim for a slightly more relaxed and heartfelt expression. Next, there's a marking to play an octave higher. While the original notes are here, you play them 1 octave higher. Now, moving forward, we have B flat, and then it simply shifts to A flat. Pay attention to what changes in this section. Remember, everything should be played flat, except for F and C. Finally, we encounter a chord here. Let's take a look at the first 4 measures together. We'll break it down into 4 measure sections. Melodies or phrases often break naturally into 4 measure segments. At the end, you have
Mi re mi ra mi re.
then.
Do si do pa do si.
Now let's check the left hand. G flat, A flat, D flat. This is written in the G clef, so
Sol 플랫, 라 플랫, 레 플랫.
don't get confused. It starts from a very high note like this. Now, let's see what changes next. Next, it changes like this.
솔 플랫, 라 플레.
Now, let's take a closer look what changes. G flat stays the same, but the other two notes change. They become B flat and C. We encounter an arpeggio. These wavy lines mean to play the notes broken rather than together. Here's the arpeggio. F, A flat, C, played broken like this. Then B flat, F, A flat, also broken. And then A flat, C, D flat, F. You'll notice it gives the feeling of descending, right? So take your time and observe the changes carefully. Now, let's look at it hands together. You might ask, how should I match the left hand with the arpeggio? You can synchronize them like this. Play the left hand here and then match the right hand arpeggio. Then repeat. It's the same as before, except the final note is omitted this time. Next, and then from here, it changes. Let's focus on what changes in this section. Take a look. Let's analyze together. The beginning is the same, but here's where the change happens.
Do, la, do.
You'll notice that this note is important, while these notes are less significant.
Do, la, do.
Here we have
Do, la, do.
and then it repeats. At this point, we've completed 8 measures. Now look at this. G flat, A flat, D flat, F. You can play it like this. And next, the outer voice remains the same, and then here, only the inner voice change. And then, it changes like this. Let's try slow again. Inner voice changes. Now here you have F, A flat, C and D flat. Observe how it progresses. This creates B flat minor with an added C. And so on. We've completed another 4 measures. Now let's look at the right hand. You'll notice a tenuto marking here. This indicates that the note should be held fully and emphasized.
라, 도시, 도파, 도시.
The pattern here suggests using fingers 3 and 2 for better control. Let's play it hands together now. In the left hand, lift F to make space for the right hand to play. You'll notice these 4 measures repeat. It's exactly the same as before. You'll notice these 4 measures repeat. The right hand plays the same passage and the left hand remains identical as well. At this point, we've finished another set of 4 measures. So keep in mind that 4-measure sequence, you can find it in this piece. Now, the octave section is complete. There is ritardando and decrescendo. Ritardando means gradually slow down. Decrescendo means gradually get softer. We'll continue with the next section in the following lesson. See you next time, everyone.